Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a lap guide for Autopolis with the Toyota 86 GT Limited. Let's get this started. Bring yourself to the left and start to brake just before you reach the 100-meter sign. Brake as much as you can in a straight line because when you start to ease off on the brakes, your car will want to step out just a little bit. Carefully start to accelerate so you don't end up making contact with the grass or worse, the gravel. Use the path on your left as your next braking point. Once again, just brake in a straight line. Use the start of the curb on the left as your turning point. Slowly ease off on the brakes and slowly apply the throttle. Then do some throttle control for these next two turns. Then you can start to fully accelerate for a brief moment. Then brake before the curb on the right ends. Try to get yourself to the inside of the turn, not taking advantage of the curb so you don't end up losing control, and just carefully accelerate. As you make your way through this left turn, you want to eventually ease off on the throttle for a short moment just to bring yourself closer to the inside, and you can actually start to fully accelerate before your car is pointing towards the official stand. You can take advantage of the curb so you can help your car rotate a little bit more. Look for the 50-meter sign on the right as you want to brake before you pass it. Try to bring yourself really close to the inside of the turn and just be nice and careful with easing off on the brakes so the car doesn't step up too much. Then just carefully start to accelerate, just making sure that the car doesn't want to do any sort of oversteering. Then bring yourself to the left, look for the 50-meter sign as you'll brake before you pass it. Once again, if you don't want the car to step out too much, just be nice and gentle with easing off on the brakes. So here the car slides a little bit and just be very careful with your throttle input. Stay on third gear, use lots of throttle control to bring yourself to the middle or even the right side of the track. That way you can go through this left-hander at full throttle, then brake well before the curb on the right starts. Brake hard for just a moment, then slowly ease off on the brakes. Just try to get a nice clean arc throughout this turn, just doing lots of throttle control. And when your car is pointing towards the start of the bridge, that is when you can start to fully accelerate. You can take advantage of this curb. You can also go through this turn at full throttle, but if your car wants to understeer, you can simply just lift off the throttle to let the car rotate. Then right before the curb on the left ends, just use a tiny bit of braking. Do lots of more throttle control, just try to bring your car towards the inside of the turn. Once your car is pointing towards the end of the grandstand, you can start to fully accelerate, and you can also go full throttle through this final corner. And that's it for the lap guide, so let's go ahead, complete this lap, and let's go ahead and talk about the strategy. For this race, you don't even have to think about going to the pit stop at all. The fuel consumption rate is nothing to worry about since it's at ×1, and for the tire wear rate, even though it's at ×15, it's still not bad enough to where you have to worry about getting new tires. Now, something to note is that you will get some noticeable tire wear on the front tires since this car is a bit front heavy. So to try to combat that, you can bring the brake balance towards the rear of the car. For starters, you can bring the brake balance towards +2, and if you feel like that's not enough, you can definitely bring it to +3 or even +4. In this race, I eventually brought the brake balance towards +3, so I feel like that was the sweet spot for me. And this is just so I can try to even out the tire wear a bit more so I don't have to worry about the car getting a little bit too understeery on the final few laps. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this guide. So to summarize, don't go to the pit stop at all. You don't need to change tires, you don't need to refuel. Think about bringing the brake balance towards the rear of the car, so +2 or +3, just to try to even out the tire wear across the front and the rear tires so you don't have to deal with a car that is getting too understeery towards the end of the race. But anyways, that's all for the guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.